Welcome to Reddit Topics, where we make videos from comments on Ask Reddit. Plus, I may tell a joke every now and then. So, if you enjoy the content, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications. Let's get into the stories. In this video, we are gonna be reading comments from the Reddit post. What is the most eerie and terrifying thing you've witnessed but no one believes you saw? I was on the scene of a 4-car collision that was caused by a drunk driver. There were several serious injuries and my dad and I were helping 10 people until help came. I got to the main vehicle that had caused the accident and was so close that my hands were on the passenger door. The window was gone and I leaned in. I leaned in because there was no one in the car. I kept looking and there was no one. I'll swear to this day there was no one in that car. I could see the inside destroyed and empty and full containers of alcohol, but nothing else. I leaned back and looked at my dad and he shook his head at me as to say, "Don't look." The newspaper article the next day reported that the driver and his niece and nephew were all killed in that car and that they did have their seatbelts on. I know there are stories of people's own brain blocking out things like this, but I kept looking, trying to see in that moment, and even today I can't understand it. Friend of mine and I were first on a scene when a guy on the highway hit a car. It was 2 or 3 in the morning. We were coming back from the bars. There is a car about a mile ahead of us. I see something happened and it spins around. I see headlights, then taillights. So we pulled up. No cell phones at the time, and it is a truck that has hit a car. We run up to the guy in the truck and he is wobbly with some blood running down his head, but not a lot. He had a toolbox in the truck that shot through both windows on impact and grazed him. We got to the car. Driver's side is caved in. We run to the passenger side and it's locked. Windows were tinted. Windshield is a spider web of cracks. We can't see in. We pull that son of a gun hard, but it won't give. My buddy notices there is a sunroof and it's busted. He hops up, looks in and says there isn't anyone in there. I looked also, just to be sure, as he ran back to the other guy. Must have been an abandoned car sticking too far into the lane, I think. More people show up. One of them is a nurse and they said cops are coming. Cops pull up. We skedaddled because we had alcohol on our breath and I don't think I was drunk but didn't want the hassle. Friend bought me the paper on Monday with the accident in it. Headline says, 1 dead in 2-car collision. The pickup driver was alive. Somehow, we both looked in the car and didn't see a dead person in there. When I was 3, I was playing with my brother on a pier. My parents stopped looking after us for a moment because I guess no one can stay vigilant non-stop. So with my brother, we started climbing into boats and jumping from one to another. And of course, because I was very small, I missed, fell into the water and almost drowned. My father suddenly remembered that he had children just in time to come back on the pier and see me fall into the water and ran to fish me out. This story is my very first memory. I don't remember everything, but I remember the hand coming down to grab me. What I can't explain is that I also clearly remember a woman with green hair trying to pull me into the deep. 2 of them for me. One was when I was around 9, walking with my friend from her place to my place. Our places were like a 10-minute walk apart. Some grown bald guy in all black with sunglasses started following us. After 2 minutes of him following us, we just kinda started crossing the street, walking to another street, etc. This dude kept following us, and every time we looked behind us, he kept pretending to be checking the soles of his shoes like he stepped in dog poop. He was super close to us the whole time, so we just ran, got to my place, and we both started crying. We had an active imagination, so my mom questioned us if it was actually 100% true, and when we said yes, she called the police. They took a statement, but nothing came of it. A few years later in the news, they were looking for a child molester and the face sketch looked exactly the same. Another time I was 14 and at the airport with my family. I spaced out while watching the board with scrolling text and had one of those moments where you sort of hallucinate, daydream, something happening. I 100% legit thought that the scrolling text changed from flight info to "you will have no choice but to watch something gruesome appear." Some Final Destination crap that was. It was late at night and I couldn't sleep, so I decided to go out to look at the stars to get sleepy. When I went close to the door, I heard a huge bang like something big was falling coming from outside the flat behind my door. I went with caution and looked through the little hole on the door to see what was happening. I saw two people just standing there outside the lift, one of them holding something. I couldn't tell what it was, but they didn't seem friendly. I looked some more, and then it was when I saw there was a person besides them on the floor, not moving or seemingly breathing. I heard them saying something to one another. I didn't really catch what though before they started dragging the person on the floor out of the flat and into a van before speeding off like crazy. I tried to tell my family, but they said it was just a nightmare. I know what I saw. It wasn't something I saw, but rather something I heard. I was putting my 4-year-old son to sleep for the night. I had just finished reading to him and he had already dozed off, so I just laid there in his bed for a little while. I heard his pull-string Woody doll go off. It was laying on the floor next to the bed. It said, "Boy, am I glad to see you." For those who don't know, the Woody doll is like the doll from the movie. He had a few little sayings that he says a different one every time you pull the string. It startled me, but I didn't think too much of it. I figured his string had gotten snagged on something. I was just about to get out of bed when he did it again. Not a different saying either. It said, "Boy, am I glad to see you." Again, twice in a row, which doesn't happen. He says a few different sayings, but always in the same order. This time I picked it up, took a look at the string and saw it wasn't snagged or anything. I was holding it in my hand, about to set it back down when it did it again. "Boy, am I glad to see you." That freaked me out a lot. It didn't help that I was home alone with my sleeping kid. I literally looked the doll in the face and said out loud, "Kay, you're freaking me out, Wood, and drop it." So he stopped. We still have Woody. He's never done anything weird since. If you pull his string, he says all of his sayings in the correct order. Everyone shrugs off my Woody experience, but it was really creepy. I swear, don't mess with cowboys. OMG. This reminded me of when I was about 10 or 11 years old. I'm 33 now, so when I was like 5 or 6 years old, my mom got me these 2 twin baby dolls that would laugh and cry, and they would kinda sync up together, so when one would start crying or laughing, the other would cry or laugh too. Anyways, 5 or 6 years go by, so I'm older, so you know how you lose interest in things, so the 2 dolls ended up buried in the back of my closet with my 4 Easy Bake Ovens and boxes of toys and whatever else. I was sleeping one night and one of the boxes in my closet kinda collapsed a little onto itself, so some of the toys fell and the dolls got bumped, and all of a sudden I heard this laughing sound. Now, the messed up part is that at this point the batteries were almost dead, but still working, so instead of cute and innocent little baby sounding giggles, I'm hearing this demonic, straight from Satan's butt, deep, evil, slow laughter coming from the depths of my dark closet at 3 in the morning. I just sat there, staring at my closet, waiting for God knows what to slowly emerge and murder me. I mean, I was a little older, but I was only like 10 years old when this happened. I never forgot that night as long as I live. When I was a kid, 11, 12 or so, I was spending the night with a friend. Of course, when it was bedtime, we didn't go to sleep like we're supposed to. We were just laying there talking when a man opened the door and looked around. He was a tall white male, wearing only his jeans, and was clean shaven with short hair. Of course, we acted like we were asleep when he closed the door. We started talking about how we were surprised that her dad had shaved the beard he had for so long. However, the next morning at breakfast, her dad still had his beard. We both saw it, so it wasn't a dream. Her parents thought we made it up, but why? When I was around 15 or 16, I was staying at a friend's house. His parents were out and we were babysitting his little brother for the night. His family lived on the top floor, his grandparents on the bottom. It was a huge farmhouse, so it was still a big house. We got to bed late, and at one point I woke up in the night to the landing light on. The bedroom door was open and a very thin, pale woman with very curly dark hair was there standing looking at us. I figured his parents came home early and brought a friend with them and went back to sleep. In the morning, my friend asked me if I saw the woman last night. I said yes, and we went out into the house to see if his parents were home. Nope. His grandparents were still asleep. The house was locked up tight. Really freaking weird. We even asked his parents if they came home and went out again because it was so weird, and we both saw that woman. They've been out all night. The area was weird though. My mom had grown up on the next farm and was terrified of the place because weird stuff kept happening. Everyone said it was haunted. He lived next to a disused railway line where there were no longer any tracks, and people kept seeing the train and seeing a man hanging there. His house had other weird things that happened when I was there, but it wasn't scary. Thank you for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications. I'll see you on the next story.